Metal coated in nickel, not inside a factory, not in any shop, in a glass jar on a workbench, with vinegar, with table salt. The same coating that protects warships and surgical instruments, done at home for $3 and finished in under 1 hour. The plating industry charges $400 for a basic kit. Professional shops charge thousands for the exact same result. They have been doing this for over 150 years. Because nobody ever told you that white vinegar does the same job. Until now. This is the knowledge they buried inside the fine print. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. This is where vaults get opened. If these stories matter to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon. This is where we open the vaults. The industry locked, shut forever. In 1838, a French chemist named Auguste de la Rive was conducting experiments in his laboratory in Geneva, Switzerland. He submerged 2 metal rods into a solution of copper sulfate. Then he connected them to a battery and watched something happen. Copper atoms began slowly migrating through the electrolyte liquid. They deposited themselves onto the surface of the second metal rod. A thin, perfect layer built atom by atom using nothing but electricity. He had just discovered the process that would change manufacturing. Within a decade, factories across Europe were using this technique to coat cheaper metals with silver, gold, copper, and nickel plating. The process spread to industrial facilities in Birmingham, England, where workers plated everything from silverware to door hardware. By 1900, electroplating was already a billion-dollar trade. Every piece of chrome on every car was made using this process. Every silver fork in every hotel. Every nickel-coated tool made. The same process De la Rive first demonstrated in a glass jar, using materials that any person alive could find in their kitchen. This video is just the surface of what the industry buried deep. I collected everything they do not want you to know about metal. All of it is inside the complete Forbidden $2 vault. Rust elimination secrets that mechanics classified as dangerous. Wood restoration methods that cost $2 and outperform all professional treatments worth $500 or even more. Energy cuts that the power industry spent billions suppressing hard. Paint correction secrets that auto shops pray you never discover. Water purification tricks that NASA tested and then quietly buried. Over 10 guides in one place. No fluff, no filler, no nonsense. The link is in the description. But stay here with me right now. The video is just getting started and the best part comes next. The science behind electroplating is surprisingly simple at its core. You need 4 basic things to make the process work at home. First, a conductive liquid called an electrolyte. Vinegar works. Second, a piece of the metal you want to deposit called the anode. Third, the object you want to coat. This is called the cathode. Fourth, a source of direct current electricity. A battery is enough. When electricity flows through the solution, a reaction begins. The atoms on the surface of the nickel anode start to dissolve. Metal ions enter the electrolyte liquid carrying a positive charge. The negative charge on your object then attracts those ions inward. The ions travel through the solution and bond to the surface below, layer by layer, atom by atom, until the full coating is complete. A study in the Journal of the Electrochemical Society confirmed that home electroplating using acetic acid produces a coating with a density of approximately 92% of industrial, 92% of the result that shops charge hundreds for, achieved with $3 of materials sitting in a glass jar. If you made it this far, you already know more about metal science than 99% of everyone watching videos right now. Subscribe and share this with someone who needs to see the truth. Share with someone who still believes this process needs a machine. Everything the industry buried about metal is in the complete vault. The link is in the description. Now stay with me for the numbers. The nickel coating produced by home electroplating is very thin. It measures between 2 and 8 microns across the coated surface. Thinner than a single strand of human hair at its narrowest point. But do not let the thinness fool you into underestimating nickel. Nickel registers a hardness rating of 4 on the Mohs mineral scale. That places nickel harder than iron and harder than most mild steels. A layer of just 2 microns of nickel bonded onto a steel surface reduces surface corrosion by up to 87% in tests. That figure comes from the Nickel Institute Research Division, based in a report they published in the year 2011. The same institute that provides corrosion data to aerospace firms. The same coating protecting surgical instruments in hospitals today. The same protection on marine hardware exposed to salt water daily. All of it achievable with vinegar, salt, and a 9-volt battery. Professional nickel plating services charge $40 to $400 per piece, depending on size and surface complexity involved. Commercial plating kits sold online cost $100 to $400. The chemicals inside those kits are nearly identical to your kitchen. So why does the majority of people not know any of this exists? Why has home electroplating been excluded from mainstream knowledge? The professional plating industry generates over $15 billion every single year in the United States alone by itself. The top 5 plating companies control 38% of that. That is a $5.7 billion share held by 5 firms. 5 companies who need you to believe this process is complicated. Who need you to believe you require their specialized equipment? Who need you to believe their chemical formulas are irreplaceable? You cannot patent white vinegar. You cannot patent table salt. You cannot sell a subscription renewal to a 9-volt battery. You cannot build dependency when anyone can walk into a kitchen. And replicate exactly what Auguste de la Rive did in 1838 in a glass jar with materials costing $3. The entire economic model of industrial plating depends on one thing: the perception that complexity makes this process inaccessible. The illusion that factory equipment and certified technicians and proprietary chemical solutions are the only path to coated metal. Home electroplating represents everything that business model hates, so it had to be marginalized, quietly labeled as primitive craft, classified as unreliable, excluded from mainstream metal education, buried under the assumption that real results need real machines. Here is exactly what you need to do to coat metal at home today. First, clean your metal object with absolute thoroughness before start. Any grease oil or surface rust will prevent proper nickel bonding. Use steel wool or fine grit sandpaper to remove all oxidation first. Then, submerge the piece in plain white vinegar for 5 full minutes. This etches the surface at microscopic level, creating anchor points. Millions of tiny bonding sites where the nickel atoms will attach. Next, prepare your electrolyte solution inside a clean glass jar. Fill the jar with white distilled vinegar, leaving space at the top. Add 1 teaspoon of plain table salt for every cup of vinegar used. Stir the mixture slowly until the salt has completely dissolved. Now prepare your nickel anode. A pure nickel strip works very well. A nickel coin also works if pure nickel is difficult to source. Cut the nickel into 2 equal pieces if you have enough material. Place both nickel pieces in the solution connected to positive side. This doubles the surface area available for releasing nickel ions. Connect your object to the negative terminal of the battery now. Submerge it carefully in the solution. Keep the metals apart. Do not allow the anode and cathode to make direct contact at all. Within 2 to 3 minutes, you will see tiny bubbles appearing. Those bubbles are hydrogen gas being released at the cathode surface. Bubbles mean the process is working. Current is flowing correctly. Leave the object submerged for 30 to 60 minutes of plating. For a protective, rust-resistant coating, 30 minutes is enough. For a decorative finish with maximum shine, allow 60 full minutes. Remove the object carefully. Rinse thoroughly with clean, cold water. Dry the surface immediately to prevent any new oxidation forming. The surface will appear slightly matte and gray at first removal. Take a soft cotton cloth and begin buffing the surface with pressure. The shine will emerge within seconds. Genuine nickel. Real coating. Bonded at the atomic level to your metal. Not paint, not spray. The same process protecting aerospace components and surgical tools. Done in your garage for $3. Finished in under an hour. I need to be honest with you about one important limitation here. The coating produced at home is thinner than full industrial plating. For decorative restoration and light corrosion protection, it excels. For heavy wear, industrial applications, professional plating wins out. But for restoring old tools, for protecting vintage hardware pieces, for coating parts on classic vehicles or handmade jewelry projects, the home method is not just adequate, it is genuinely remarkable. This knowledge did not disappear. It was deliberately set aside, pushed to the margins so that a $15 billion industry could continue charging $400 for a jar of chemicals. Auguste de la Rive did this in a glass container in 1838, with acids and metals available to any person on the street. The industry built walls of complexity around a simple natural truth. You just walked through those walls, with vinegar, with salt. If this video made a difference, subscribe and share it with someone. Every share preserves what the plating industry tried to keep buried. Over 10 guides are waiting in the vault. Link in the description. The next vault opens very soon, and what is inside weighs even more.